An ACL tear is every player's worst nightmare, and our hearts go out to Chloe Kitts. But from a cold, hard, armchair GM perspective, what if I told you this devastating injury is the very thing that could make South Carolina's 2026 front court the most dominant we have ever seen?
Prime Field!
On October 13th, 2025, the South Carolina Gamecocks announced the kind of news no championship team ever wants to deliver. Senior forward Chloe Kitts, reigning SEC Tournament MVP, All-America candidate, and a projected first-round WNBA pick, had torn the ACL in her right knee. Her season was over before it began. For head coach Dawn Staley, it was the second devastating blow in less than a year. Forward Ashlyn Watkins, the team's other athletic frontcourt star, was already sidelined, recovering from her own ACL tear. The Gamecocks, one of the deepest programs in women's college basketball, suddenly had only 10 healthy players. The question was immediate and stark. Can a championship-caliber program survive the loss of its frontcourt core and somehow turn that adversity into future strength? This is the story of how one team's crisis may become its greatest opportunity. Before the injuries, the South Carolina Gamecocks stood atop the sport. They entered the 2025 offseason as the reigning SC champions, having won the 2024 national championship and finishing as national runner-up in 2025 after a narrow loss to UConn. At the heart of that dominance was Chloe Kitts, a 6'2" forward known for her rebounding, versatility, and quiet leadership. She averaged over 10 points and 7 rebounds per game, anchoring one of the nation's most balanced lineups. Kitts wasn't just a key contributor, she was the team's pulse in high-pressure moments. Her 2025 tournament performance, where she earned Most Valuable Player honors, symbolized her rise from talented prospect to cornerstone player. But the first warning signs came early in 2025. Ashlyn Watkins, then a sophomore, tore her ACL in January. In the summer, she announced she would sit out the entire 2025-26 season to focus on recovery. With that decision, South Carolina's frontcourt depth quietly began to thin, a vulnerability that would soon be exposed. The injury came suddenly, during what was supposed to be a routine preseason practice. Within hours, the program confirmed the diagnosis: a torn ACL, surgery required, season lost. For a player with WNBA aspirations, the setback was severe. For the team, it was transformative. 2-star forwards gone, 10 healthy players remaining. The reaction across women's basketball was immediate: shock, concern, and speculation about how even a powerhouse like South Carolina could endure such a loss. Coach Dawn Staley addressed the challenge directly. "We hate this first for Chloe, who has worked incredibly hard. Her teammates are capable of stepping up, and I know that her competitive fire and tenacity will be felt from the sidelines." Kitts echoed that sentiment, posting, "While this isn't how I hope my senior season would go, I'll continue to lead, support, and push my team from the sidelines. We have big things ahead." With those words, the season's tone shifted, from one of expectation to one of reinvention. The Gamecocks' 2025-2026 season now began with the question of identity. How do you replace two forwards who combined for over 14 rebounds per game and defined your defensive presence? The answer lay not in replacement, but redistribution. Sophomore Joyce Edwards, the team's leading scorer as a freshman, would now become the focal point of the offense. 12.7 point per game performer with elite instincts, Edwards had already drawn comparisons to South Carolina legend Adhel Wilson. Wilson herself said, "Joyce's IQ is something that's going to take her far. She's already becoming a pro at a young age." Her development, once expected progress gradually, would now accelerate dramatically. The opportunity gap left by Kitts meant more minutes, more possessions, and more responsibility. Medina Oko from Mississippi State and Mariam Dauda from Arkansas would be tasked with stabilizing the paint. Oko's 9.6 rebounds per game ranked 4th in the SEC last season, while Dauda brought floor spacing and defensive versatility. And then there was Adhel Tac, a 6'5" redshirt sophomore finally healthy after her own setbacks. Once a limited reserve, she now stood at the edge of a breakthrough. This season would give her the minutes and matchups needed to prove she could anchor the Gamecocks' interior for years to come. Few coaches are more experienced at navigating adversity than Dawn Staley. A Hall of Famer and 2-time national champion, Staley has built her program on depth, preparation, and resilience. But this roster, stripped to 10 active players, presents a challenge unlike any she's faced in recent years. The margin for error is razor thin. One more injury, one early foul out, could shift the balance of an entire game. Managing fatigue and maintaining chemistry become as critical as game planning. Strategically, South Carolina may pivot towards smaller, quicker lineups, four-guard sets, zone defenses, and motion-based offenses designed to mask front-court absences. Staley's ability to innovate tactically while preserving the team's identity will define her coaching season. In many ways, this is Dawn Staley's masterclass in adaptation. South Carolina's misfortune also reflects a broader reality in women's basketball: the prevalence of ACL injuries. Studies show that female basketball players are nearly 4 times more likely than males to suffer ACL tears. Some surveys estimate that over 20% of elite women's players have sustained the injury during their careers. These statistics underscore the physical demands of the modern game, one that has grown faster, stronger, and more explosive, sometimes at a cost. For Chloe Kitts and Ashlyn Watkins, the recovery process will be long and demanding, often taking 10 months or more. The impact is not only physical but professional. For Kitts, it introduces uncertainty into her WNBA draft timeline. She must decide whether to declare after rehabilitation or return to South Carolina for a final collegiate season under a medical redshirt. Either path carries high stakes for her and for the program she helped elevate. While the injuries strip South Carolina of experience, they also open unprecedented space for growth. The 2025-26 season becomes a proving ground, a year that could define the next generation of Gamecock stars. Joyce Edwards will shoulder All-American expectations sooner than planned. Medina Okud and Mariam Dauda will develop chemistry as front-court pillars, and Adhel Tac, once a name on the depth chart, will have the chance to establish herself as a consistent rotational player, particularly as a rim protector and rebounder. Each player's accelerated development builds towards something larger, a front court that, by the time Chloe Kitts and Ashlyn Watkins return, may no longer be learning but leading. The 2025-26 South Carolina Gamecocks enter the season with questions, challenges, and perhaps the slimmest rotation of the Dawn Staley era. Yet within that limitation lies a rare opportunity, the kind that transforms programs from great to generational. If the team can endure this season, if Joyce Edwards becomes the All-American her potential suggests, if Adhel Tac finds her footing, and if Okud and Dauda solidify the front line, then the return of a healthy Chloe Kitts and Ashlyn Watkins in 2026-27 will not just restore depth, it will create dominance. A year from now, the same roster once described as thin could become the most complete front-court rotation in the nation, deep, versatile, and battle-tested. What began as a setback could end as the foundation of a dynasty's next chapter. Because in South Carolina's story, adversity isn't the end. It's the beginning of something even stronger.
Prime Field